from a spiritual medium, Coach, and I want to welcome you to the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. I have with me the energy of a being by the name of Joan of Arc, who's historically known for her events as a young teenager for leading the French armies to victory over the English and helping install the then King Charles VII, I believe. And it's interesting that she comes to speak about why the youth are troubled today. There's, a lot that is underestimated in what young people are, what their potential is. We have said here before that every single soul on this planet originally came here in response to a call for love. That is, you heard a call for love from those who were here, and you came to offer your light to this world, to elevate it, to bring it up to a higher place of expression, where greater elements of expression in terms of love could be demonstrated as a result of your answer to this call. But today there is a great confusion among many of your young people about their nature and their function here. Again, much of what exists in your modern society loans itself to the physical nature of the individual as being the foremost part of the individual, and nothing can be further from the truth. If you understand the nature of the divine that moves through you, then you would understand that the body is simply the vehicle through which it articulates through you, if you choose to allow it. She's saying in her case, when she was very young, she was perceived as very, very strange by many because she said things and she did things that most did not understand. But she always claimed that she was speaking to the Father, to God, and that it always told her to say and do the things that she was saying and doing. This caught the eyes and ears of local leaders who recognized her potential in being able to see and to hear and to know, and this was leveraged. She was brought very quickly to the hierarchy of the establishment that was trying to take hold in France at that time, and her connection to the divine was and is so pure that she was able to easily overcome what was happening. The events surrounding her eventual capture was an agreement that had been made between the leadership of England and the leadership of France, that an individual with such intimate knowledge of the divine should not be allowed to exist. And so as to wash his hands of it, the king then allowed her to be taken to England, where of course she was then charged as a heretic. The youth struggle today because you continue to disconnect them from their divinity, and it is their divinity that they came to offer you. Their innocence, their playfulness, their curiosity. Instead, you have warped them with giving them illusions that somehow the body is to be elevated to a state of a god. And this is ridiculous, that the body is not that which you seem to make it into, that it is the most important element of your nature. Your soul is the most important element of your nature. If you come to the understanding and conclusion that your body is the only means you have of existing, then you will strive and struggle to keep it in a certain fashion that is pleasing to you, but not pleasing to that which made you. And so you have kept them obsessed, so to speak, with their bodies. You have disconnected them from their curiosity and their playfulness. You have elected to make them into copies of yourself, something that you believe you can control and manipulate. The same occurred for me. The existing authorities do indeed perceive anyone with knowledge greater than their own as a threat to them. and have historically removed those individuals repeatedly. And while the degradation of your society has become very apparent now, this method of operation still goes on. Even though you can see your society crumbling down around you, you still do not understand that it is what you are ignoring within you that is causing this. That when you place the holiness of the holy into the world of matter, into the world of the physical body, if you believe that the body is the source of the holy, then you will be disappointed, for the body is but the means through which the holy may express itself. And the holy is innocence, and it is play, and it is creativity, and it is love, and it is compassion, and it is kindness. That is the holy, not the flesh through which it moves. You must know that if you do not have arms or legs, you may still be holy. If you do not have physical eyes to see, you may still be holy. If your body is not as someone else's body is, you may still be holy. In fact, you are holy. But what will make you know this? And why do you choose to continue to place all these young ones in the position where they must be like every other? Why do you choose to do this? It is to your detriment. It is to the fall that is coming that you do this. You had hoped that by creating a regimented system of learning that you would somehow create uniformity, and that has not ever succeeded, nor shall it ever. The diversity of the divine through each of you is to be celebrated, not the conformity to your limited perceptions of what that is. There were very few that could communicate with me that could understand and comprehend the truth of it. And my perceptions and my assertion, because I know and I knew what was speaking through me, was not I myself, but that which you call God or the divine spoke directly through who I was. And I am never separate from that. I never closed my eyes and I never closed my ears, and there were none around me who tried to do this. My eyes and ears were always open. And the eyes and ears of children are always open. And yet you close them, you close their eyes, you close their ear with your anger, with your fear, with your need to be in control, with your designs to serve only yourself and your personal interests. You cannot glorify the body at the expense of the divine. There is no outcome that is good in that regard. You can preserve the innocence of the children by love, not by control, nor force, nor threat, but by love. And they are confused because they look to you, and you do not choose to turn to them and say, look within you. Look within you to that light, to that love, to that joy that is you, that makes you fearless, that makes you curious, that makes you playful. How often do you inspire them to do this? No, you say to them, do this, be this, this is you. What we say you must do. And so you close their ears and you close their eyes. And now many of them cannot see, and they are blind and scared and frightened in their hearts. Not because that is their nature, but because they have been placed in this position by your ignorance, in believing that you can somehow create a uniform state of humanity devoid of the divine. It is impossible. And you shall find, as you are seeing now, all of your attempts to try and monitor and regulate the functions of others for your own personal aggrandizement shall come crashing down around you as they are now. And you will find no place to hide in earth or beyond. You will find no place to hide in safety. For that which you sow, you will reap. You cannot do harm to others without experiencing the effects of your cause. As was proven even after I was forced to leave my physical expression, then that which served its own means fell back into the dust from whence it came. And now you see but a shadow of the former glory of that control and power. And you're about to watch it crumble altogether. Yet there is still time that you may choose to understand what it is that should be considered, what needs to be nurtured, what is called for now is not more of your control and power, but more of your love and your compassion, more of your trust. But if you think for one moment that you can think greater than the mind that made your mind, you are sadly mistaken. If you think that you can create a greater creation than that which made this world, then you are sadly mistaken. If you think that for one moment you can orchestrate a climate on this planet, you are sadly mistaken. For only the hand of that which fashioned you can do such things. And you may be as that hand yourself, and you may not be as that hand yourself. The evidence is unfolding before your very eyes. The very evidence is unfolding before your very eyes. That even in all of your desperate actions, you cannot control that mind that made thee. And yet you would seek to continue moving forward on this course where you would deny the youth the love and the freedom, the playfulness. You place them in boxes. You structure them for your own safety and not for the wellness of all concerned. You cannot escape what you are doing, but you can undo what you are doing. Seek then to be free. Seek then to give the children the love. Restore to them what is rightfully theirs. Your existing forms of learning and education are, for the most part, appalling, where you seem to repeatedly force many into one idea, and that is not what everyone came here for. The children came to be that which the divine sent them to be. And if you seek to act as if you are the hand of the divine, then you will be disappointed. Know this, that the suffering of others calls forth compensation. The suffering of others calls forth compensation. No matter what restrictions you may place before others, their suffering will call forth compensation. And this compensation will not be through the hand or mind or heart of man, but that hand, that heart, that mind, that fashioned man, that shall be what responds to thee. There is still time. But you must let these little ones have this space to be as they are. It is not enough to teach them language and the sciences. They must be allowed to be their heart You must understand their heart does not work on a schedule that you can fashion. And each one shall open and close at the appointed time of their being, not on the schedule of your making. And you have known this, and you've tried this many times before, and each time it has failed, and subsequently it will do the same. So there's still time. I'm asking her what she means by still time. That right now, the existing mechanisms for how we manage the raising and caring of children is extremely detrimental to what's happening on the planet. And I'm always being told that the emotional consciousness of the human collective, and this is what I find funny, the emotional consciousness of the human collective is literally organizing our environmental conditions. The environment changes by the nature and quality of the energy interacting with the environment, whether that's the energy from the sun or another planet or the galactic center. Human emotional energy likewise contributes to the transformation and change of what we are witnessing on the planet today. Yes, as someone just saying to me that the concept of honor the mother and the father is understanding the relationship that you have between this earth and this sun, the giver of life, the nurturer of life. You must understand this, that these two elements hear you and feel you and will respond and react accordingly. Yeah, they keep saying like the collective emotional sum of humanity needs to shift. That there is a process, there's a reset happening, but it's not the reset that the political and social leaders are trying to orchestrate now. There is an actual reset that's happening because of the emotional collective energy of humanity is inducing and influencing changes in the conditions of our material experience on this planet. And any individual who understands this concept, that when you get upset or you get excited, your body reacts and responds immediately. Well, think of this. We're 7 billion people, and we're all generating emotions. And those emotions are going to interact not only with our own biology, but will cause things in the environment around us to be affected likewise. And there have been many experiments that have been done on that. Yeah, but she wants me to reiterate that it is the young ones that are the possibility of salvation. The young ones are the possibility of salvation. But it requires that you reevaluate how it is you would bring them forth in their light and not in yours, to understand what they are here to offer you. They try to show you in the very young, the younger ages, they try to show you what they're here to be and to do, and you seek to place them in conformity to what you believe they should be or do. And you close the door and lock away the divine of them inside themselves. For their love for you is unquestionable, and they would seek to do whatever they might to please you, even if it means surrendering their light to their own detriment. And so the suffering of the young is just this, the surrendering of their light to their detriment in order to please those that would seek them to be a certain way. Yes. Wow. Thank you. Wow. Good morning, everybody. There's a huge change coming, and we're all part of it. Excuse me. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Elena. Wonderful. Question from Adam for Archangel Metatron. Why exactly is he called the Lesser Yahweh in Judaic love, and why this title? He's laughing. He's saying he doesn't give much care towards titles or designations that humans would choose to place upon him. You must understand that many of these holy scriptures that you read were scripted precisely for the reasons that have been stated in previous times, that of control and power over others, and not for the liberation and expansion of the divine as a function of your collective being. But there is no care for me of title or name. That is not what the divine seeks. For you are all equal in its eye. Why would you seek anything other than that? What greater gift can there be than to be equal to that which made you? There is no title in that. There is just being in that. Wow. Thank you, Adam. Great question. Question from Christopher. Have I been sending the type of love and wisdom to the earth and spiritual realms that you would approve of? Thank you. There's a strong yes for that. Yes. But do the same for thyself as well. Do the same for yourself as well. Make certain that you honor the temple as a holy instrument, and that your mind also likewise makes certain that what you place within it is sacred to you. Yes. So I like that. So going both ways. Like, it's important to extend love to the world, but also to honor your own temple, your own body, your own mind. I like that. Thank you so much, Christopher. Really appreciate that question. Question from Fee 444. Why do autistic children struggle so much? Great question, Fee. And I've asked that question myself multiple times. And what I've been told about autism is there's a process. Yes, there's a process where they remain connected to the source. They don't necessarily individualize the same way others individualize. Their connection to the collective consciousness is far more intimate, which is why some of them can be sensitive to people being emotional around them, or certain qualities of energy or sounds or sights, because they're very intimately connected to that oneness part of themselves, that they can really tap into other people's thoughts and other people's emotions, and they don't have necessarily the ability to differentiate between their thoughts and emotions. And they're telling me that there's a process of training that's about to emerge that's going to help teachers that work with autism, that help others that work with them to understand how to teach them to recognize their individual nature to a greater extent, not simply to get them to conform, but to get them to recognize their individual relationship to their thoughts and emotion. The moment you can place them into the position where they can begin to observe their own emotion or observe their own thought, the moment that awakening occurs, they will actually begin a process of building their individuality as something that is unique to them, but will no longer leave them subjective to the eddies and flows of other people's thoughts and emotional energies that are around you all the time. Anyway, please understand that emotion and thought, while invisible to your physical eyes and physical ears, are not visible to these ones that you speak of. They can see them, they can hear them, they can feel them very intimately, and not through the mechanisms of body, but through the mechanisms of consciousness, of energy. Wow. Great question, Fee. Thank you so much. Here we go. Question from Vertical Connection. The unused eye perception from 1.5 years ago, would it still suit my eyesight now? It depends if you're using it, how you're using your eyes too. Like a lot of people don't use their eyes properly. They get into patterns of living and they let their eyes function in a certain way all the time. But this, I don't know who this is, but they're saying there's something on the top and bottom of your eyes, and I'm presuming these are eye muscles, but you need to work them. They need activity. Like your hands need to move to make them work. Your eyes need to move to make them work. But yes, this will still be sufficient if these are working in their full manner. Your eyes, yeah, your eyes have muscles on them. Your eyes have muscles on them, just like your arms and legs do. And if they're not properly exercised, they'll begin to atrophy, and your eyes will slowly get pulled back into the sockets because the muscles aren't being fully stretched and exercised. Eye size, you should develop a program on yoga exercise for your eyes and train all the muscles and teach other people to do the same thing. It'd be really great for you. Question from Rue Lorca. I am having some issues with my 11-year-old daughter who is very open. Can I get a message on what would best help her at this moment? Wow, let me just tap in. When you, yeah, okay, so they're saying to do this for the next few days. Anytime you have thoughts of fear, worry, or concern towards your daughter, move into a feeling of love, gratitude, and appreciation towards her. And every time, they're saying every time that comes up where you find yourself worrying or wondering about her, move into a state of love, appreciation, and gratitude towards her in those moments. And do that for a few days and watch the change in her energy. Don't tell her you're doing this, because, yeah, they're saying you need to know that you have a greater influence. And mothers tend to have a greater realm of energetic influence over their children than the fathers do. That's just what happens, because men are more external, women are more internal to their energy. But seriously, go into that place of love, gratitude, and appreciation for your daughter. Anytime you have any concern, go back to that, and let those feelings go towards her and observe the change over the next 3 days. And please leave your when you go through that process, leave some comments under this video about what happened and what occurred for you, so that other people can learn from that too. But there's a being by the name of Sandalphon that works with you, will help you with this. Very, very gentle. Your daughter knows Sandalphon too. She hasn't spoken to her for a while, but they know each other. Really important, the energy of love, gratitude, and appreciation instead of the concern. Release all your concern. Go to love, gratitude, appreciation, and watch what happens. And again, write your comments of your experience below this video when you have completed that in a few days. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Time for one more question. Question from Ruth. How can I better know I am that I am? Wow. You got some really powerful beings that want to help you to realize that. There are several steps to this process. The first step is to realize that the body is not the source of your identity. It is the instrument through which you evolve your expression. That your thoughts and your mind are not who you are. They're simply the information that you've garnered to formulate what you call the personality that you utilize while you're expressing through that physical form. But this I that you are, to come into communion with that I am that you are, the mind and the body must be placed in stillness. They must be placed in stillness. You must go within and close all the gates of the temple. The eyes, the ears, close the gates of the temple and go within. Find the silence where you are within without distraction by thought. And in that place of silence, be there and anticipate that which made you shall come to you, for you are seeking it, and that which you seek you shall find. But do not let the distractions of your mind, the body, or the world deter you from this. Climb the mountain, climb up out of this. Go to the pinnacle, the top of the temple, where you are not disturbed, and remain in that silence until that which you wait for arrives, for it shall arrive, for it will hear you, it will know that you are seeking it. And those of you that learn to stand above the subjectivity to thoughts, above the subjectivity to matter, you move closer to that I am that you seek to know that you are. That I am that you are. You shall know these things. Those who seek shall find. Wow. Thank you so much for that question, Ruth, and thank you everybody today. I want to remind you that we are in a few more weeks, around August the 15th, We're going to be beginning our Masterclass 102 program, which is a mediumship program. It's designed to help you release and transform and transmute old, past, dense emotional energies. I encourage you to go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and register for that course. It starts August the 15th. You've got lots of time. It's going to be 21 days of very intense, powerful transmutation. So I encourage you to come out, learn to get past your mind and body, end your subjectivity, end your enslavement to your emotions, to your past. And I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out today. If you want to support this channel, you can do so through my Patreon page, patreon.com /William Michael Forbes. You can use the link in the description box below the video. Also, other ways you can support this channel, you can use the super chat feature. You can also use the super thanks feature if you're watching this video as a replay later. And again, thank you so much for coming by today. I want to thank the presence of Joan of Arc, Master Jesus, a few other beings that have been here today. Sandalphon, thank you so much. And I want to wish you all much love and have yourselves a wonderful and a joyful day. Bye for now.